Clearly the elements of the iconic superhero dumb.
Clearly I'm the only one who's not drinking, is what you're saying.
Anyway, it is a great comic series. It is a good animated movie. I was kind of disappointed just because I love the graphic novel so much, which there's so much more to it. But if it was enough to, like, for somebody to see it and go like, wow, I got to read this graphic novel, then by God, it did its job.
Yeah, I only saw the movie. I didn't read it. I will be reading the graphic novels because I love the movie so much. It made me cry like just a total bitch at the end of it. It made me cry like Buzzkill does when as soon as her video cam goes off. When she's done reading poetry.
Dude, she's going to have you strapped up like the season finale of a Nip Tuck.
Yeah, you'll be calling her new nickname might be Dexter after you disappear.
Which, by the way, that reminds me real quick. Alex Hacker, here's your shout out. Hey, Alex, I talk to him every day on the site. I like Alex.
Alex is a good kid, but dude, you don't have to email us hi every day.
Fair enough. Next, WALL-E, Pixar's newest film. Almost no dialogue in the entire movie.
I got no problem with that. I one of my favorite episodes of TV ever is Hush by Buffy, which has very little dialogue in it, and worked for me.
I haven't been in love with the last couple of Pixar movies, but it is still Pixar. They're still trustable, and I didn't know it was no dialogue. That sounds pretty cool. I'm willing to give it the total benefit of the doubt.
It's Pixar. Have they had a movie that was less than 3 stars?
Well,
Yeah.
Cars.
You thought that was less than 3 stars?
I did.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have given that their lowest rating, which is 3 stars, but still.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched it a lot. Okay. I've given it every chance. I give it about 2.5.
I mean, I admit, it was brought down a whole star just by the presence of Larry the Cable Guy. That alone could, cause the apocalypse.
A little Owen Wilson goes a long way. It's basically Doc Hollywood, except it's all cars.
But what's wrong with that? Who the hell even remembers Doc Hollywood? Come on.
I just did.
Yeah, you did, but you're like ancient. You're like older than the hills. You're older than the underwear.
Oh, by the way, Cyrus, I think your colostomy bag needs changing.
Oh, crap.
Exactly.
Okay, now this is one that I don't know how to feel about. Wanted. I just read the graphic novel series about it was based on by Mark Millar, I believe, and it's freaking brilliant.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God! And
yes,
it has arguably the greatest ending page of any comic book ever written in history. I don't want to say anything more about it. But it's just a mini series, so it's like, oh my God! By all means, I say,
issues.
Yeah, please go out and buy the graphic novel of this thing. It's just that good. Not for children, but they're making a movie where they've changed everything according to reports.
Well, you know what?
Awesome.
The problem is they've changed the most important thing. Where the comic is all, it's where all of the supervillains in the world team up and kill all the superheroes. And you're like, wow, how's that going to play in a movie? Well, in a movie, they decide to just make them assassins. They're hitmen. And that's like, so what?
Yeah, how many Hitman movies?
Yeah, how many Hitman movies have we seen? I mean, honestly, to me, Shoot 'em Up was like the last word in the like over-the-top Hitman movie. Like, okay, you know what? For what you were, bravo. You've covered all the ground. I never need to see an over-the-top Hitman movie again. And yet here's one that's doing it again. It's like, what else is there?
I know. I would be so interested if they actually were sticking to the comic, at least somewhat.
Yeah.
The concept of it. Why not make Sky High for adults, but the bad guy story?
I didn't read. I didn't read the limited series that it's based on. I've seen the previews several times and just am magnificently impressed. I don't know what it is, but like the last couple of things Angelina Jolie has been in, I'm just like, God, you're not doing it for me. Morgan Freeman, same thing. It's just like, nah, not so much. And the movie purports to be like this. Oh, you're never going to believe this. And ooh, look at all the great things we're doing. And it's just like, I have seen all of this before. Mm-hmm, I have seen all of these characters before. Mm-hmm. And I am dead bored with them.
Yeah, unless Angelina ends up giving head at some point.
Yeah, if they're going to say, oh, and in the middle of the movie, for no reason whatsoever, Angelina Jolie takes off all of her clothes and stands perfectly still for 5 minutes.
But we've seen that. We saw it in that movie, Gia.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but she's got more tattoos now.
Or Beowulf.
And Beowulf, where they enhanced her body and made it look better.
They made it. Yeah, well, how great is that? Where do I get that treatment? If they had made a Botox like that,
Now, tell me, in Beowulf, when like he came back and he's like, "You had sex with her, didn't you?" Weren't you like going, "You goddamn right I did." Did you see her?
What are you freaking kidding me?
His wife was giving him shit. You just had to have sex with a demon, didn't you? Hey, if you'd been there, you couldn't have blamed blame me.
But it's the other
Vikings
way
game?
around. If you had shown up and this girl can inform, and demon can inform any form it wants, and it's like the young Sean Connery striding up to you all naked and a little less hairy.
Oh, God.
Hancock, speaking of that.
Oh, wait, Will Smith?
Will Smith
as
as
a down-and-out superhero?
As the homeless superhero.
Because you cannot give a magical Negro script to Will Smith and have him say no.
Now, you guys know how I feel about Will Smith, the legend of Nigger Vance.
Not so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Plus, it's about golf, so.
I mean, Will Smith is a candy ass. If it was somebody who could really play this character hardcore, down and out, you know, a douchebag, sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing, is that it purports to be this, he's this guy with superpowers, but he's just like this total douchebag. And it's like, nobody is ever going to buy Will Smith as a douchebag in a million years.
And you know why?
Too many white people like him.
Exactly. Will Smith was bred in a laboratory to be the black guy that white people would not fear and would totally love everything he does.
You're absolutely. You know who needs to play this role? Chiwetel Ejiofor. I just wanted to say it again.
I want to hear you sing.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Of everything we said tonight, that'll be the thing that'll get the most, response, email. Oh, leave Will Smith alone. Oh, he's a good actor. Blah blah blah. Hey, the Will Smith formula is you come on, you smile a lot, and here's the thing that Will Smith does. He uses black slang that's been out of date for at least 3 or 4 years.
Do you think he's got like a 70s era disco song that he's gonna rip off to make the rap song for the end of Hancock?
Will Smith is a brand, and he's a brand that they will we cannot make him look bad. He cannot lose the audience.
No, I know.
He has to always look like a good guy. And if he's being a douchebag, it's got to be with a wink and a nod so people know that by the end of the movie, they're going to like him again.
Okay. I was considering not even bringing this up, but because it's Guillermo del Toro, you have to talk about it because he's just that big of an influence in the geek world. I'm talking about Hellboy 2, The Golden Stream.
Have I talked about how much I hated the first Hellboy movie?
I just thought it was mediocre.
I fell asleep in it.
Really? That bad, huh?
Yes. It's one of those movies where it's urgent. We have to save the world. And yet for the next hour, we're going to meander around and not do that. And then somewhere in the last 10 minutes, we'll have a big fight with the villain that seems to come out of nowhere.
I liked it. I think there were some elements there. And it's one of those movies where I kind of find myself editing it a bit in my head to make it a better movie than it was. But I'm still curious about this. I'm a diehard Ron Perlman fan. I think he was perfect casting. I think everybody. I really liked Selma Blair. I really liked the Abe Sapien character.
The guy from Frasier,
being voiced by Niles.
Yeah.
I love David Hyde Pierce in anything.
Absolutely. There was a lot of stuff in there. That in a purely elemental sense worked. So I've seen one trailer and it looked interesting. I'm willing to give it a shot, but I'm definitely not staying up at night wondering when it's going to come out.
Yeah, I'm with both of you guys. But I think a little bit more with Beau here. I think the original concept is really awesome. I think the casting was amazing for both of these. I don't know what happened with the first one.
Yeah,
it is dull. It
should have been really good.
It should have been really good, and it wasn't. But I want to give it another try. I mean, Guillermo's smart, and he does listen to the fans, and he does listen to what people say, and I think maybe he might have learned something.
Maybe he was just learning English at the point.
Yeah, right.
I thought most of the fans went nuts over Hellboy. I gotta be honest, as much as I love Mike Mignola's art style, I never really enjoyed the comic. I was always like, what is this? A demon who fights other monsters with bullets? Why can't just a regular guy use bullets for that matter? And
they are awfully big bullets, to be fair.
Okay, why can't just a regular guy,
Probably because the recoil would break every bone in their body.
That's what super weapons.
Okay, even given that.
And he's got a big red hand. Big red hand.
Oh, well, the big red hand.
He's got a samurai haircut.
How could I miss that? You know what? I don't understand. I don't really see. I guess I can't say I don't understand it whatsoever. I'm not an idiot, but I don't really see the appeal of Selma Blair.
Yeah, well, that's because you like boobs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Fair enough.
You should see that John Waters film she has in. You'll love her.
That's why you don't like. That's why you don't like Kristen Bell that much either. You're just like, no boobs.
Okay. Yeah. And Kate Hudson. All right.
The Dark Knight.
They're really amping up the viral stuff with the Harvey Dent campaign and some of the Joker stuff. One of the coolest things that I've seen lately is the people that have been on the mailing list for the Harvey Dent campaign from the IBelieveInHarveyDent.com website. Some of them have been receiving these Harvey Dent campaign buttons, and they've been burned. Half of them have been burned. It's pretty much assured that the third movie is going to happen and that Harvey Dent is going to be Two-Face in it. So
yeah,
that's really cool for me as a fan.
I love the viral stuff with this, although those things have been questionable whether or not they actually affect the success of a release. But I think it's fun.
I think it's fun, but I don't watch any of the viral stuff at all. And,
well, you have no time.
Well, plus, it's like, wow. I mean, it's happened before where you got into all the viral stuff that was so cool, only see a movie that was shit.
Well, or that the viral stuff didn't pay off to. I mean, I don't know if you followed the Cloverfield stuff, but there's practically no payoff for any of that stuff in the movie at all.
Exactly.
I mean, it was just to build up keep you interested. Don't forget Cloverfield. And it worked for that purpose, but it didn't pay off. Not like the way
but obviously Batman has a richer, deeper history to call upon for this sort of thing here.
Nobody loves Batman more than me. And I totally trust this director, and I trust this cast. And my fear is not that it'll be a bad movie, not at all, but that I'll be going like, yeah, it was good. I'm reserving. I just feel very reserved because that trailer just does not do anything for me.
Really?
Yeah, I just don't get excited by
Wow.
it. Well, there's that scene in the trailer where he's riding on the bat cycle, the bat pod, is it called?
Yes, bat pod.
Right at the Joker, firing at him, and then passing him up and skids and turns
felt
around.
like Tim Burton's
It
Batman.
reminded me of the scene from the Tim Burton movie where he's firing at him from the bat plane and misses him for no apparent reason.
Well,
and I'm just like, oh God, don't give me a flashback to that.
Yeah.
That might, it might be a nod. It might be a poke in the eye.
I don't want a nod.
We don't know.
The last thing I want is a nod. I want no acknowledgement of the Tim Burton movie.
I'm excited. I mean, because watching the trailer, it looks like they're definitely taking some risks, which I think is a positive thing. But to be honest, barring Arnold Schwarzenegger popping up and him and Batman snowboarding, I'm pretty cool with everything I've seen so far. It's like there are no nipples here. I'm good.
That's true.
X-Files sequel. I may be the only one in this room who cares.
You are.
But
Yeah,
God,
you are.
Goram,
Thank
I
you, Beau.
care.
I wasn't sure.
Leon and I are going to sit over here. You go.
Well, I just want to
take
say
this
real
one.
quick about this. They went back. They're saying, okay, well, screw the mythology that was way overplayed. It's a monster movie of some kind, and not a werewolf movie. Not a werewolf movie.
Werewolves.
Not a werewolf movie. And they've said, even from what I've heard, they're saying even screw the whole like Mulder and Scully get together business. They just want to make a good like dark horror / thriller adventure movie, which I think could be great.
How about we screw the whole X-Files franchise and just make a new movie?
Can't they just have like 2 hours of Gillian Anderson getting rectally probed? I mean, I'd watch that. Come on.
If they could fit it into the storyline, sure.
Fuck the storyline.
And by the way, Leon, you're dead.
You know what? On GP have a problem with movies made from TV series, whether they've been old or they're new series or they're recent series. It's like, look, if it's a TV series, let it stay that. If you like it that much, don't take it off the air.
but
I don't
come
want to go. I don't want to pay at a theater to watch something I used to watch on TV for free.
If everybody listens to that, we never would have had a Wrath of Khan, so shut the hell up.
That's an exception. And
Well, wait a
let me
second.
tell you why.
The movies I like are different.
It was decades later. They'd already started it
Yeah.
as a movie franchise at that point. So
well, then by the same thing, this Get Smart movie that's coming out, you've
all right,
got no problem
don't
with
use
that.
my own logic against me. For Christ's sakes.
Yeah,
All
you're
right.
pretty much correct.
Now here's one I don't care that much about, but Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
I cared greatly about this when the original idea came out, because the original idea was George Lucas was basically going to throw the doors of the franchise open and say, we're going to bring in some outside people and I'm going to let them do some TV stuff. And I was like, awesome. We've got, we can deal with the original vision and not have his hands over everything, screwing everything up. Well, since the Clone War animated series, the original Clone War animated series, done by the guy that did Samurai Jack, was so good and became such a fan favorite, George Lucas decided to take upon himself to personally start directing the Clone Wars animated series that's going to be coming out, and that means, of course, that it's going to be utter dreck. And it's already they're already doing stupid crap. Like Anakin is going to have an apprentice, even though it was firmly established in the prequels that he wasn't a master yet, and therefore wouldn't be allowed to take apprentices. But they're gonna have him take a female apprentice anyway, just because George Lucas thinks it would be interesting.
Captain Cannon over here.
Yeah.
I really think that because that doesn't match with what we've been shown already.
Yeah, because Star Wars geeks don't care about canon.
Well, I mean,
anyway,
I'm just saying that they shouldn't at this point.
I mean,
I agree because this is gonna suck, just like all the prequels suck.
And the third movie, he already in Revenge of the Sith went back and messed up the continuity within that.
No, there is no continuity anymore. People, anything after the first 3 movies, you're just dealing with parallel dimensions.
Anything after the first 2 movies.
Well, the third.
I like the.
I like Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
I mean, the first 2 are like 5-star science fiction movies. Return of the Jedi is like 3.5 stars, but that's still good.
It is still good. Yeah.
It's as good as, say, Battle Beyond the Stars.
But you remember how, like, I don't know if it was, like, if we had given up by the time the third movie had come out, Revenge of the Sith. But when there was talk of there being a Star Wars TV series, how you're, like, really excited up until the end of Revenge of the Sith, and then you're like, when he arises as Darth Vader going, no! The last thing you wanted to see was a TV series of that.
Yeah, no. Oh, hell no. And only George Lucas and the whole world would ever think that. I mean, I picture him like Darth Vader, walking around Skywalker Ranch, and people are like, dude, so what did you think of the third movie? Like, well, it was okay, but there was that...
Yeah. It's just like, I don't understand why nobody likes me. No!
Okay, this one's stupid, but I'm throwing it in here anyway. Punisher Warzone.
I don't think it's stupid at all.
I don't think it's stupid at all
Yeah,
either.
the guy who played Titus Pullo from the Rome series, whose name is, of course, escaping me right now, is playing the new Punisher. He looks awesome. I mean, he's not a pretty boy like Thomas Jane. He looks like... Well, if you've seen Rome, he looks like somebody who could kill somebody rather easily, which he does many times throughout the series. I think he's going to be a great Punisher. There's so far the advanced buzz that I've heard on it is it's really good. They're basing it on on some of the Garth Ennis stuff. I think it's got a really good shot of being a great little project.
Ever since Garth Ennis took over writing the Punisher, it's become like maybe my second or third favorite comic book. I love it. And I want to cut the throats of anybody who says, oh, I thought Thomas Jane was good as the Punisher.
Ugh.
He was horrible. First off, he's a little bitty guy. He's barely 6 feet tall. I think he's more like 5'8". And the Punisher anytime the Punisher is described, he is a huge, scary Vietnam vet who's just about pushing 60 years old, who if you're a criminal and you see him, you already know your life is over with, and you just hope he's going to kill you quick and not torture you. Thomas Jane didn't bring that to it, and that movie didn't bring it to it, and John Travolta certainly was not a scary villain.
Yeah, the name of the guy who's playing his name is Ray Stevenson,
right.
Played Titus Pullo in Rome, and he's big. I mean, he's really big. He's like... he looks like he's about 6'5" when you watch Rome, but maybe they just have a bunch of short people.
You need a Punisher that doesn't use moose.
Yeah.
For the most part.
and Ray Stevenson has no hair, so it's perfect.
And so, you know what? The door is wide open for them to get it, close. I mean, in my opinion, Dolph Lundgren's Punisher was better than Thomas Jane's Punisher.
Yeah, I agree with that.
At least more brutal.
Quantum of Solace, the new James Bond film. Now, I don't know if you've heard about this, but they're talking to Sean Connery, and they talk to Sean Connery every once in a while about stuff.
Sure.
But the word is they're putting on the table a lot of money for him to return as the villain.
I have one word to say about that, or I guess 2 words: the Avengers.
The Avengers.
Not a good idea. Not a good idea if you remember the Avengers.
I have 2 words too, and they're please and don't.
Really?
Can we just let Sean Connery have his nap? He has retired of his own volition. And I don't want to see him anymore. Just like, I wouldn't want to see
Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston is in the last stages of Alzheimer's disease. I don't want to see him up on screen.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He's in the last stage of Alzheimer's. Maybe I put him on a set with a bunch of guys in 8 masks and don't give him a script and just watch him play out that character from Planet of the Apes. That would be awesome.
No, now is the time for Roger Moore to interview, or not Roger
Michael Moore.
Moore to interview him. And it's just like, why do you believe in guns? Do you have pudding?
It's those damn dirty apes.
Like,
with the last Bond, loved the first reel, liked the second reel, hated the third reel. The idea that this would pick up from that, like, maybe it'll save it. Make me want to go buy it on DVD.
Yeah. Maybe there was something we didn't know yet.
Yeah,
exactly.
For this one, because you're right. First 2/3, that movie, wow. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is the Bond we've been waiting for. Last third, please tell me this is a dream sequence.
Exactly.
All right, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Hell yeah. I'm going to geek the frack out about this one.
Then let me get this out early on. This was the book where the Harry Potter series started to lose me.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I got to say, like, as much as I was loving it, with this book, I was starting to lose its luster. And with the last book, I'm kind of like, yeah, I think I'm kind of over it now.
It's so worked for me all the way through the book series. And the last movie is by far and away my favorite of the Harry Potter films so far. And David Yates, the director of that, is going to be directing the rest of the series at this point.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, they're dividing the last book into 2 films.
They'd have to.
Well,
That's a good move.
I don't blame them at all. In fact, I'm surprised they didn't do it for this one as well.
And me too.
I would have rather they did, for that matter. But anyway, I think this is going to be fun.
I think it's going to be fun, too. I do kind of agree with Leon that it isn't a case of it really that the Half-Blood Prince is where I lost it for Harry Potter. I really liked the book, and I thought it opened up a lot of really interesting questions. I was a little bit let down by the last book. So, because of that, my love of the franchise has died down a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be all over this movie like a hungry pooch on a can of Alpo. It's Harry Potter, and I absolutely agree with you. I loved the last movie. I thought it was the best of the series. I think this, because it deals with so much heaviness and so much death and so much darkness, that it's gonna be really interesting and cool to see how they pull it off. So, yeah, I'm there with bells on.
Plus, Hermione is legal now, so we can fantasize about her.
Yeah.
I knew that was coming. oh yeah, like now you only just now started fantasizing.
What do I
about
look like, Corey?
but now I can admit it in public media.
All right, now the last one I wanted to go out on this because Beau has a special connection to this film.
Yes,
is Fanboys, which is going through a lot of press right now because the film, which has a premise where a guy who's got cancer, a geek who has cancer, around the time right before Phantom Menace came out, really wants to see the prequel before he dies. And I think we all remember what that was like.
Oh my God, that poor kid.
Yeah. I know, right? You think it's got to be a tragedy, right? You could totally remake this whole concept as a drama, no question.
Yeah.
It's the Away from Her for this next year. But which would be better if he had Alzheimer's, actually, because he'd see it and go, oh, how did I like it? You loved it.
It's everything you were waiting for.
But they filmed the whole movie with this whole group of people who decide to go to Skywalker Ranch to steal this movie from Skywalker Ranch so his friend can see it before he dies.
Okay.
Great idea, right?
Right.
Funny comedy.
Sure.
And Harvey Weinstein decided, you know what, this is kind of dark. We're just going to wipe out that whole cancer patient part and just make it about a bunch of geeks who want to go out to Skywalker Ranch to steal the movie, which is like, why would they even do that? It's going to come out in like a couple months.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't even follow logically.
It doesn't.
So
it's an insult to geeks.
It really
like
is.
you guys.
That's what it boils down to, is that, they're thinking that the, millions of males in this demographic that, made the prequels into such hits, even though they were pieces of crap, that their brains can't take something as heavy as, somebody having cancer, or maybe somebody having a last wish before they die. Another thing that's kind of going against the movie as far as how they're trying to box it is the success of the Judd Apatow stuff, which is not that big of a deal when it works. I mean, I like 40-Year-Old Virgin. I like Knocked Up. But I didn't like Drill Bit Taylor, which is we've seen the bright side tonight of Judd Apatow's friends getting movie deals with Jason Segel. The downside is Stephen Brill, who's the guy who did Drill Bit Taylor, where he took basically My Bodyguard and Freaks and Geeks and got rid of all of the goodness about two of them and smashed them up into a really bad movie. And he is the person who's been assigned to script doctor Fanboys, and I can't really see him doing anything but making a hash out of this. The fans have set up a couple of sites. One of them is StopDarthWeinstein.com. And what they're asking people to do is to boycott some of the Weinstein movies that are coming out, including Superhero Movie. I'm not telling you whether to do that or not, but
that's just getting kind of goddamn ridiculous here. I mean, look, you just don't go see this movie.
Yeah.
What's it matter?
I agree. Well, I think what people want to do is they want to get the original version released, and already there has been some bows to pressure. The Weinstein Company has said, well, we're definitely going to release 2 different versions on DVD, and I think there is something to be said for keeping up the pressure and, getting them to put out the damn original version the way it should have been. But, I'm not advocating either or at this point.
Is anybody aware that we're at war with Iraq? I mean,
granted, I admit you, but you know what? You can protest the war and, still
Is The Rock
want
in this?
a good movie to come out.
I didn't even know that. We should boycott it because of Dwayne Johnson?
I didn't say The Rock. I said Iraq.
I'm sorry. Don't go see superhero movie, but do go see Stop Loss. There.
I'm just saying, there's more important things to direct your energy at.
Hello, we're at spill.com. We're not CNN.
It's just like
The reason people come here is to stop thinking
if
about.
you want to talk about
The Rock.
we can go to Leon only talks about serious stuff.com.
There's any number of things to do other than boycott some dumbass movie that might even go direct to video.
Don't go see Drill Bit Taylor, and don't go see comic book hero or superhero movie just because they're really, really bad movies.
Sure, those are much more legitimate reasons to not watch those movies.
And maybe
that's fine.
I think my only point about this is, all right, so maybe it's still a really good movie, even with the Cancer Boy thing taken out. Maybe it's still really funny, but is it going to have that same sort of edge? I mean, it seems to me like it's just a Kevin Smith movie without the cancer storyline, but we haven't seen it. It's too soon to say. For all we know, this will be Stephen Brill's first time to be a
I actually have seen it, and they have done previews for it with the cancer storylines at Star Wars conventions, and they've gotten standing ovations. Now, granted, that's the core audience. I'll give you that. But I'm just saying, the previews that have happened, people have been liking the storylines. They've done one screening of the one study screening of the non-cancer storyline, and I think it scored like 1 point lower. I mean,
it was almost exactly 1 point.
Yeah, it was almost
lower.
exactly the same thing. So I'm just saying, and I'll be up front here. The writer, my tie to this is the writer of the movie is a friend of mine, and I would like to see his original vision being honored. Other than that, go see whatever movie that you want to go see.
Well, thanks, guys. This is the first League of Extremely Ordinary Gentlemen. This is me and Leon, and our guest for this week was Beau, who you can find on Spill. I will link in the intro to this to his actual page, so you can go and tell him how full of crap he is.
Yeah,
oh, you poor bastard.
Absolutely am.
Only we get to do it in person, which is, I would go so far as to call a hobby. We'll be back with another one and another new guest, so thanks so much for listening.
Oh, and in the meantime, if you got some topics you want us to talk about, throw them at us.
You can find us if you're in Austin, at the Nomad Bar downtown at 1213 Corona.
Downtown, you would call that?
Well, it's not downtown, I guess.
No,
it's
North Central.
in beautiful North Austin.
It's right off the 51st Street. But you can find us there a lot of the time, hanging out, talking, and even recording these. So thanks so much for listening.